For Jim Calhoun, a second straight game. It is a reunion. Bob Wenzel for the 11th time in his career. Calhoun today will be coaching against a former assistant.
That has got to be an uncomfortable feeling for him. Of course, he is in the position where his team's much stronger than those of most of his assistants, so that's a good thing.
And as we take a closer look at Ted Woodward, who is in his 4th season as the coach of the Maine Black Bears, was an assistant for 3 years at UConn, and he was on that UConn staff when the Huskies won the NIT championship in 1988. One of 7 former Jim Calhoun assistants who are now Division I coaches. Jim Calhoun's 509th career win at UConn came last Sunday against another one of those former assistants, Tom Moore at Quinnipiac. And Bob, in our Star Watch, the leading scorer for Maine gets his points inside, and for UConn, Jeff Adrian has given Jerome Dyson a lot of help. Dyson getting most of his points from the perimeter.
Well, Brian Andre weighs 300 pounds, leads them in scoring and rebounding, and of course Dyson very, very quick on the perimeter. And he was, before the game, I talked to George Blaney, and Jerome was not feeling great. Banged up his knee a little bit. There was some question as to whether he was going to start in this game, but he is in the lineup.
And as we check the rest of the starting lineups, joining Andre in the Black Bears lineup will be point guard Junior Bernal, who's 4th in the America East in steals, 6th in assists, coming off a 17-point effort last time out against Mount St. Mary's. And for UConn, Jeff Adrian has played very, very well of late. 12 points, 14 rebounds against Quinnipiac. It was his 4th double-double of the season, Bob. If you recall, last year as a sophomore, Jeff Adrian was Mr. Double-double to begin the year.
No doubt about that, Bob. And Jim Calhoun loves his tenacity on the boards. He's a guy who's first team all big league coming in, as you mentioned, undefeated against his former assistants. And, of course, Jerome Dyson is out there, and he will be playing. You know, an interesting story in this game, Bob. The guards for Maine, Bernal and Sokaby, they're 6'5" and 6'6". Right. So they're going to have a size advantage on UConn in that particular part of the game.
Pat Driscoll will toss the ball up between Hashim Thabit and Brian Andre. Also working the game, Ray Perrone and John Gaffney. And this is Bernal, the point guard, guarded by Price. UConn wearing some spiffy new uniforms today.
Yeah, what's with the gray? I haven't seen that. First time ever?
First time ever, breaking out the new uniforms today. Left long jump by Sokobi, who's really struggled from three-point range. Andre's lost the ball over the line. Sokobi shooting only 29% from behind the arc.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to read his stats because he's very free with shooting them from out there. They are not a good three-point shooting team. They will stick to zone right here to try to combat the athleticism which they're facing in this game.
Yeah, Ted Woodward told me, look, we're a man-to-man team, but we can't play 40 minutes of man against this team today.
No doubt about it. UConn is great with their quickness and athleticism.
Stanley Robinson with the miss. Rebound in the lane to Jordan Cook. He's a second-generation Black Bear. His dad played at Maine, assistant coach at Maine. Bernal missed the first shot, but was there for the loose change.
And there's the 6'5" guard right there, taking his man inside, repetitive jumping. Bernal will be All-America East this year. Maine has good size. You know, there are 2 6'10" players in there right now, Andre and Cook, and they are not thin either. You know, 6'10", 300, 6'10", 250.
Andre rebounds the Dyson miss on a hop. We go the other way, and Robinson got a piece of that, I suppose, pass by Barnes, and Andre can't hit as well, and here comes Dyson.
UConn wants to push it, obviously, Bob, at every opportunity. They have advantage in the speed department.
Adrian with the miss, one and done for the Huskies.
Nice blocking out, zone effective so far.
Maine is second in the America East in rebounding margin early in the season. They're only 4-6 overall.
They've had some tough games, though. You know, they played Providence, they played Florida State. They have not given themselves an easy schedule by any stretch.
Up and over Thabit.
How about that?
Calhoun has seen enough, and he wants to talk things over. Underline the word talk. Minute 54 in.
Bernal taking the ball strongly to the basket. And that is not the way you want to start. Maybe guys are thinking about Christmas vacation too soon. But watch this. 6'5" guard takes it in here and misses his shot and then follows because of his size, gets the loose ball, gets it right back up. And then, of course, on the other side, went right at the beat, used his body to shield the ball. That is an educated guy.
When's the last time you've seen UConn get out-rebounded 6-1 out of the gate?
Well, it's early, and Jim Calhoun, of course, has a lot of things on his mind with the upcoming Big East season. They're 7-2 so far this year, but the 2 times they've challenged themselves, they've lost both of those games to Memphis and Gonzaga, so certainly the jury's still out on the development of this team.
Memphis ranked 3rd in the country at the time of the loss. Gonzaga 19, a blocking foul on Barney's first foul of the afternoon. And
they like this guy, don't they, Barney's, Bob? You know, he's a guy who played football and a track athlete. I think he was injured at the beginning of the year.
Missed first 7 games with a hand injury. This is only his 4th game back.
Yeah, very athletic type guy.
Dyson trying to dissect that zone. So far, the Huskies have not had success. Price fakes one way, gets into the lane. Kick out Dyson. And another defensive rebound, this time by Bernal. And Robinson picked his pocket, then dribbled the ball off his foot. The only thing missing on that particular play by Robinson was, I don't know, like the tire. You try to get the ball through the tire, you steal it, and you crawl through the tire, and then put the ball underneath the windmill. UConn 0 for 4 to begin the game, but 3 of those 4 are 3-point attempts. And the 3-point arsenal is not UConn's strength.
No, they like to dribble penetrate. They've gotten clean shots, though. I mean, the dribble penetrate in the dish, certainly evident in the game early. Price knows when to pass and when to shoot.
Cook fakes the beat off his feet, gives to Barney's in the lane, starts to go, and it's called for the offensive foul. That's his 2nd, and Ted Woodward will have to get him out of the game.
Well, that's some inexperience right now. Ted's got to substitute immediately. He told me he really likes this kid, and taking it to the basket is one of his attributes. Pretty athletic guy. Uses the glass to try to get it in, but nice play by Adrian.
So Barney's leaves with 2 fouls. He's 6'7", replaced by 6'4" Jason Height. And Height will move out front on that zone, and Sokobe will move to the wing on the zone.
That changes everything. They will not be as good rebounding here.
Nice look inside. Adrian to Thabit. Jeff Adrian is never going to win a conference assist title, but he is a much, much better passer than he was a year ago. Right in the lane, Sokobe wants to back in on 6'9" Robinson, who gets his 17th block shot of the year.
UConn leading the nation, as always, in that particular category.
And Robinson off the feed for Price. What'd you say about Price in the open? He passes with accuracy?
Well, that certainly was accurate, wasn't it? He's had 9 assists in 3 games already this year, so speaks to his unselfishness and pinpoint passing.
Including his last game against Quinnipiac. Sokobe with Robinson in his grill. Robinson is long at the 3 spot.
He's the X factor to me in their team this year, Bob. You know, I mean, he's a guy who could be a superstar, but he's kind of on and off. Sometimes plays well, sometimes doesn't. Searching for that consistency in his 2nd year. Shot
clock at 6. Bernal had to force the shot over Price, and Robinson gets the rebound from the seat of his pants. Baseline, Adrian spins and finds Robinson.
One of the things about playing a 2-3 zone is you get back, protect against layups very easily, and of course they don't want layups against UConn's team.
Well, UConn that time played inside out. Price buries the 3.
Well, that's the best time to take 3s, when the ball goes into the post and then back out. Gives you a clean look.
7-0 Huskies run, and here they come again. 4 on 2 if they hurry. Dyson to Adrian, and he is fouled by Height. First foul on Height, and number 3 on the team. So, Bob, you think the Huskies have a little athleticism in this lineup?
Looks good to me, Stanley.
Like your days at Rutgers. On the front end, not the back end. Today's ESPN Plus game is brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest. It's the 96th meeting between these 2 original members of the Yankee Conference, UConn and Maine. Hasheem Thabit, the 2nd leading shot blocker in the Big East, and he has improved his game at the offensive end immeasurably since last season. Bob's got a long way to go, but he's a much better offensive player than he was a year ago.
Yeah, 10 points and 8.5 rebounds per game, shooting 65% from the field. So he has improved dramatically, but still his signature will be his block shots. And frankly, he's not blocking shots as well as he did last year to this point in the season. Sometimes you think about guys and you know, when you block a shot, there's a chance you might foul, and sometimes I think guys don't want to come out too early in the game, so they are a little less aggressive sometimes. But he's certainly, and UConn certainly, the best shot blocking team in the country.
And Thabit could not get that one as it's laid high off the rim by Malachi PA, who is checking the lineup for the Black Bears. Dyson to Price. They feed Adrian in that middle part of the zone. That's the key to attacking that 2-3 zone. Adrian settles for the jumper from the elbow. Offensive rebound, Robinson. And then Adrian with the offensive board. And as he goes along the baseline, he's shoved.
Well, one of the best things that Jeff Adrian does is show his muscle on the offensive and defensive boards. Very much in evidence on that play.
First personal foul.
First team all-league this year in the preseason. 11 players were chosen. He the only one from this team.
Second leading rebounder in the conference as a sophomore last year. Had a slow start rebounding-wise this year, but he has crept up into the top 10. He is currently 8th in the league in rebounding at 8.6.
I'll tell you, there's some big ones. Cantrell, Gransbury, South Florida. Clark at Louisville doing great. And how about Blair, the new player for Pittsburgh?
At 20 the other night.
Against Duke.
The
that big win, huh?
With the putback will get himself to the line. And so far, Maine has committed 5 fouls. UConn has yet to be called for a foul. That one is on Malachi PA, his first. There's a look at Ted Woodward. Jim Calhoun said of Ted Woodward that when he was recalling the days they spent together, and he said, well, one thing Ted was really good at is he could get on the phone and do a great job of impersonating a sports writer when he would call a recruit, and he could find out where we stood with that recruit.
Ah, a little stealth in the recruiting wars, huh? How about Thabit? You know, for a guy who's his size, shooting 71% from the free throw line, that is a gigantic, if you'll excuse the phrase, plus for this team. Usually you get big guys that don't shoot that well. When you think of the other big guy in this league, you think of Roy Hibbert at 7'2", 270. So some giants for these two teams.
Thabit has scored 4 points. Philip Shikani Bofia from Cameroon gets the basket. The steal by Sokobi, but instead of waiting for help, he tried to go at the hoop 1-on-2, and that didn't work out. Robinson. Price. Robinson with the drop step into the lane, and we'll get a rebound foul. There's the first foul on UConn. And Pat Driscoll's going to get Jeff Adrian for his first.
Stanley Robinson is an interesting player. He and Adrian together form a very formidable forward combination on this team. Adrian, the stronger of the two. Robinson, kind of a sleek guy that can do all kinds of things. Robinson, one dribble and he's anywhere on the floor. But he's yet to maintain the consistency, I think, that they are looking for from him.
UConn trying to trap the ball back at midcourt, and they fall back into a 2-3 zone.
I'm impressed with Bernal. 6'5" guard, playing in this kind of atmosphere against a team this highly ranked. He really keeps things under control for Maine.
Shikani Bofia, how did that not stay down? Rebound pulled down by Adrian, and he'll draw the foul. This one will be on PA, his second and already 16 fouls on Maine. There's a look at Bernal 2 years ago. Did not play. Was a non-medical redshirt. Those are his numbers for the year.
He's going to be one of these guys that impresses you not only with his numbers, although those numbers are fine for his team, but he's got great leadership ability. And in the America East, a 6'5" point guard is a rarity indeed. I expect that he's going to have a great year. One of the problems for Maine right now, their big guy, Brian Andre, who's their leading scorer, is going to have trouble in this game with the size that he's going to face with UConn.
Like right there when he could not corral that defensive board, tried it with one hand. Bernal comes away with it. We've played 7 minutes. UConn by a pair. Bernal picks up the dribble. Finds Shikani Bofia, who uses the left lane, and there's a block shot by the Huskies. They lead the country yet again this year. They led the last 6 years, and Price parries the three.
Give credit to Wiggins on that one. Kept his head up on the break. They switched roles like there. Price as the 2 guard, Wiggins as the point. Interchangeable, that's what you want from your guards.
All 6 of Price's points have come on a pair of 3-pointers. Bernal Got it poked away by Price.
How about that little trap there, you know, out of the zone? Trap one time, take a little time off the clock, throw the rhythm of the offense off.
PA from the wing. Long rebound. Comes down to Price. It's a 2-on-3. Has Doug Wiggins left. And he finds him for the three.
How about return the favor on the next possession? 6 points between those two guards in the last 12 seconds. And a timeout for Maine. They've got to get themselves together right now. Their transition defense not as good as it was at the beginning of the game. 2 transition threes right here. Wiggins at first. Notice how he stops and surveys and finds Price. Nothing but bottom right that. And then going the other way. Price finds his partner Wiggins in the corner, and he knocks it in. That's what you want. Maine 0 for 2 from downtown. Connecticut 3 for 7.
And one of the things, one of the luxuries, Bob, that a coaching staff has during this time of year where the games are spread out because of final exams and there'll be another break for Christmas, is you can work on things that you don't ordinarily have. But once you get in conference play, man, in the Big East, you better worry about your next opponent, not the one you're playing in 2 weeks.
You got to worry about the next possession in the Big East, because there are 16 teams, and I'll tell you what, it is going to be fantastic this year.
And one thing that Jim Calhoun and the staff worked on this week was trapping out of the 2-3 zone. We've seen a little bit of that in the last couple of games.
There it is right there, too. Exactly. And that's what you want to do. It does a couple of things. It creates a steal if you're fortunate, but it also throws the offense off. How about Bernal switching to the forward position here?
Gets the layup and draws the foul. He'll have an opportunity to complete a 3-point play. The UConn Huskies have lost 2 games before the first of the year for only the 4th time in the last 20. And indeed, it's happy holidays for Jim Calhoun. He's got the whole clan here today, Bob. All 6 of his grandchildren are here. There are 4 of them. There's his daughter-in-law, Amy, and son, Jeff, and the 6 grandchildren here as well. And Ted Woodward, part of the UConn coaching family. This is a shot of the 1988 NIT championship team. There's the head coach, a little bit younger. Howie Dickerman, now the head coach at Central Connecticut. He was an assistant. Dave Lato was an assistant, now the head coach at Virginia. Ted Woodward was an assistant, now the head coach at Maine. Glenn Miller was an assistant, now the head coach at Penn. And Steve Pica was a player, now the head coach at Stony Brook. The only 2 guys not in the picture are Tom Moore, now the head coach at Quinnipiac, and Carl Hobbs, now the head coach at George Washington. Quite
lineage, huh? That's a testament to the great coaching of Jim Calhoun and his career and his educating those guys, and they run the Connecticut program and the things that he has taught them at their respective places.
Bernal with Maine's first free throw attempt of the game. It took them 8.5 minutes to get there.
Brian Andre, who averages 13 a game, their center, is 0 for 2 in this game.
Inside, Curtis Kelly found Adrian for the basket in the lane.
Well, Fabit out of the game right now, and it would be wise, I think, to get Andre back in. He might have a little more success against guys other than Fabit in there.
Turn and shoot from the foul line for Shikani Bofia. And Pat Driscoll is pointing. What do we got? A technical foul here. I think Stanley Robinson might have been involved because of the look on his face, but Pat Driscoll is teeing up Stanley Robinson. Did you see anything?
I did not see anything. Stanley has a look of guilt on his face.
Oh, you can tell, huh? Boy, it didn't take you very long as a juror to decide that, huh? You didn't wait for the closing arguments. And at the free throw line, knocking down the first of the 2 technicals is Shikani Bofia.
A lot of guys from the Cameroon playing in college basketball right now, and we'll take a look at what happened. Right here, pointing at someone's face like that is a no-no. A dishonorable way to play the game, according to the rules.
It's a kinder and more gentle Big East this season. At least before conference play starts. On the left, Robinson, good ball fake. Gets him right by Shikani Bofia. Well, he didn't point in his face. He just did it with a jump shot.
Well, that's what you do. You answer with your game and no other way, and that's the way to do it. talking about guys from Cameroon, you know, UCLA has both of those two players from Cameroon, and you know what they call them at UCLA? The Cameroon Crazies, the fans out there.
The one-time pass Price to Kelly. He's fouled by Height. That will be number 2 on Height and number 7 on UConn. Golf fans and club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com to sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifying site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. When Ted Woodward first got to Maine and he was an assistant coach there under now current LaSalle coach John Giannini, Ted was also the head golf coach. Of course, I think the golf season in Maine lasted about 7 weeks.
Pretty short, huh? They played 3 matches. Well, what Ted's doing with his team right here, they're hanging in very nicely. And what he's doing is frequent substitutions right here. I think he's a little concerned about the confidence of his team playing against Providence, playing against Florida State, playing against UConn. But it's great preparation, in theory at least, for the America East Conference if you get through it unscathed. And so far, they're hanging tough in this one.
Wiggins steals the outlet pass. But instead of waiting for help, he tried to dump it inside to Dyson. It gets deflected out of bounds by Maine.
I like the fact that Ted has Andre back in the game, Bob. I was mentioning, I think, with him, they got to get him some scoring. So they're used to him getting 13, 14 a game. Right now,
Stanley Robinson, his nickname is Sticks. I think Stanley got a little riled up there when he got teed up. The step-in steal, Adrian finds Robinson. And Ted Woodward calls his 3rd timeout.
And the 3rd dunk for Stanley in this game, showing some of the athletic prowess that he possesses. This is a very good inbounds play, huh? You could diagram that one. Just throw it up to an athletic guy. And, of course, right here, Adrian, the 2nd time making a beautiful pass. Forward combination are at it for the Huskies.
Now, a year ago, that pass from Jeff Adrian was liable to wind up anywhere.
Yeah, and
that
you made
time
that
it was
point.
right on the fingertip.
Yeah, he's improved that part of his game. And, of course, you like to see when players develop and expand their games and yet stay within the things that they do. Look, Jeff Adrian is a power player in the paint. That's what his signature is. And expanding his game in the ways that you described is good. Moving his range out a little bit is good. But you see sometimes in college basketball where guys try to change what they are and then they become very ineffective for their teams.
Huskies now shooting 50%, out shooting Maine 50-33.
Well, if you shoot a bunch of dunks like that, you're going to get that high number, right?
Well, they settled for the 3-point jumper against that 2-3 zone the first couple of possessions. But now they're getting the ball inside. Down low, Bernal wants to work in on Dyson. Shoots over him and beat with the block shot.
That's the 6th block of the game for UConn. They average 9.
Jumper by Sean McNally, number 21, no good. Rebound Robinson. Here comes Wiggins.
The question for me with Robinson right now, he's been really electric in this game so far. Can he maintain that kind of intensity and not sort of fall asleep?
Jeff Adrian looks like Magic Johnson out there, the way he's distributed. He's got 3 assists already. I don't think he had 3 assists last year by Christmas time the whole season. He's got 6 rebounds also.
8-0 run for the Huskies.
Inside, Bernal and Dyson will be called for his first foul, and number 2 on UConn.
Well, Bernal is not a guy who can shoot the outside shot very well. He's only shooting 16% from downtown. But as a 6'5" point guard, they try to run him under the basket, and they've done that successfully in this game. Now, he's only a 63% shooter from the free throw line, so that's the area where he's got to improve the most as I see it.
All right, Bob, from your coaching days at Rutgers, what would make you happy in terms of an assist to field goal ratio for your team? What would make you happy?
If I had half of the baskets that were assisted were made. That made me happy.
Well, how about 10 assists on 10 field goals for UConn today?
That's not good, see, because that means they're not going one-on-one enough.
Well, they've got assists on all 10 of their field goals today. We are at the XL Center in downtown Hartford. Glad you've joined us, Bob Picozzi and Bob Wenzel, for this Big East, America East matchup. UConn has made its last 7 shots and leads Maine by a dozen. Adrian in the lane, kick out Dyson. Does he get another assist? Thabit kept the rebound alive, and Dyson with the up and under move. Adrian with 1 putback, 2 putbacks. UConn had 4 opportunities that time and came away empty. Here comes Maine. Down low, Andre back in. The jump hook over Thabit. Tip up and in by McNally.
That's the problem for Andre. He can really, it's going to be tough for him against Thabit. He's giving away about 6 inches, and they've got to find points some other places. Doing it really, Maine's doing a pretty good job on the offensive boards, attacking it anyway against a more athletic team.
Adrian penetrates, sets up Price. Thabit with another offensive rebound, and the foul on Andre.
How about the left for Hashim, huh? You talked earlier about his game being much better offensively than it was last year. This is good evidence in that direction. You would expect the rebound. But right here, the left. Very, very nice work by Thabit.
8 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocked shots for Thabit. Of course, he is from Tanzania. When he moved to this country, he went to high school, established residence in Houston, and he will be heading home after the game today to Houston to celebrate Christmas. The entire UConn team will be able to get home for Christmas, and they will assemble in Orlando on Christmas night, practice the next day, and they'll play the University of Central Florida next Friday in Orlando.
That, my friend, is a dangerous game. Away from home right after Christmas vacation. Speaking of Houston, didn't UConn have another guy from there who was pretty good?
Yeah, they did. We're going to get a foul on the screen. Will be called on Maine, so nothing's going right. As a matter of fact, Thabit's 119 block shots last year, the 4th highest single season total in UConn history. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd belong to the other guy from Houston, Eka Okafor.
Jerome Dyson has been on the bench, and I told you the story that his knee is bothering him. It was questionable whether he would play. He's 0 for 4 in this game. Wiggins getting a lot of minutes. How about Mr. Robinson, Bob? 10 points in the first half. Doing the things that he's supposed to do as the small forward for the University of Connecticut.
5th straight double-figure scoring game for Robinson. Biggest lead of the afternoon for UConn at 15. Jacoby with the 3. Fell down afterwards.
Nice answer by Mark, huh?
He had a 29-point game against Quinnipiac this year, career high. And he gets the offensive rebound, and then Robinson took it right out of his hand. Wow.
Sustained effort by Stanley Robinson in this one, and the guys in the suits on UConn's bench are smiling about that right now. This is what they've been hoping for from Stanley Robinson.
Well, UConn had 9 new scholarship players last year, and without question, from an athletic standpoint, Robinson had the most skill.
Yep. But they were 17 and 14 and missed the tournament. So this is a year that all of those players that you mentioned are now supposed to get better, and they should be improved as a team.
Second foul on Adrian as Bernal with another opportunity for a 3-point play. He's been the entire offense for Maine, Bob.
I'll tell you, he's a tough player, and I think he's going to have a great season in the America East. His knee seems to be bothering him. He got banged there a little bit. The only thing he does not do well is shoot from the outside. Trying to get his teammates all to finish. It's tough for Maine coming in here against the leading shot-blocking team in the nation. They've got 6 already, and more than that in terms of challenges do UConn. And that takes away from your inside game, and that's a concern for Ted. His best inside scorer, his leading scorer, 0 for 4 in the game because of it.
Bernal now has 10. 33, Gavin Edwards is in for the Huskies. 6'9" junior from Gilbert, Arizona. He'll have an opportunity to sneak home for a few days to Arizona to celebrate Christmas. Stanley Robinson's got 13 first-half points.
A little bit of a coming-out party here, huh? He's done it in a lot of different ways. He's got 3 dunks. Now he's got a long outside shot. He's got offensive rebound points.
Make it 15 first half points, and that is his second high total for the season. Gavin Edwards with the offensive rebound. UConn looking for something in transition. Wiggins left. Edwards foul line, 1 bounce, and the offensive rebound is Jacoby. Jacoby is the brother-in-law of Kevin Reed, who was a second-team All-American East guard last year, and there's the beat with the 7th block shot for the Huskies in the first half, his 3rd.
Yeah, and Reed, as you mentioned, was the 3rd leading scorer in the history of the school. So losing him last year was they finished 4th last year in the league, and they hope to finish in that area again this year.
Only 1 senior and 1 junior on the team. Bernal, that managed to get the shot off, but under duress. Price with the hesitation. Can't finish to the left. Thabit misses. Adrian, or making Kelly sure does it. UConn is killing Maine off the arc. Remember when it was 6-1 Maine rebounding? Well, now it's 23-14 UConn. There's a putback by number 33, Jordan Cook.
Well, the pace of the game certainly in UConn's favor right here. They're using their athleticism, swarming all over the offensive boards. And with their dunks in there, doing a fine, fine job. Maine really hanging in. They've got to improve at the defensive end here a little bit.
Robinson for another 3. He's got 18 points. That's a season high. 18 points in the first 15 and a half minutes. Jim Calhoun was mentioning that he'd like to see Robinson. We're trying to get Stanley to become what he calls a 2-dribble pull-up shooter.
Well, he can get anywhere with 1 dribble. We get an elbow in the face right there. Kelly gets hit by Bofia. Seems to be okay.
This foul on Shikani Bofia.
Well, when you analyze UConn's team and you talk about Stanley Robinson because he's having such a great game here, if he's the small forward on this team and can score, not, to this excess, but in the variety of ways that he's doing in this game on a consistent basis, that's going to make this team much, much better. Dyson back in the game, 0 for 4 so far. He's their leading scorer on the season.
Coming off a season high 23 in the win over Quinnipiac last Sunday. Robinson pass deflected by Jacoby. Price gets it back. Kelly at the foul line. Back out to Price. Sets up Dyson for the 3. Rebound Robinson again. And he'll get to the line. Robinson is possessed ever since he got teed up. It almost looks like it anteed up the competitive spirit a little bit there, didn't it?
He crashes the board on the right side of your screen here from way outside, really hustling after the ball. It's interesting that when you play hard, all of the scoring sort of comes to you. And if you're worried about scoring, it doesn't come to you. Big numbers right here compared to his obviously lower stats for the season so far.
Averaging 10 per game, now looking for number 20. So Robinson has now scored 20 points for only the 2nd time in his career. He's only 1 point shy of his career high. With a half to go.
If your theory is correct, then he should get a technical foul in the first half of every game that he plays this year.
Well, not even Tom Brady and Randy Moss could complete that. Robinson went down hard, is yet to get up. Jim Calhoun wants to know where was the foul, and so does the crowd here at the XL Center. Now when UConn gets the ball, Pat Driscoll blows the whistle.
Well, the fans are booing, but they don't know the rule. The official cannot stop play on a play like that because guys could fake things all the time. Right. If it was super severe, blood or something, he could stop the play immediately, but the official did the right thing.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened. He got the legs knocked out from underneath him, but was there an infraction, Bob?
No, not at all. Right here, he goes up. Both guys are going after it. He gets hit in the head, but he's fine, I think.
Well, just behind the Hall of Fame coach, Jim Calhoun, former New York Mets manager Bobby Valentine in the house today. Bob, he was one of the great athletes in Connecticut history. Terrific 3-sport athlete out of Stamford. now managing in Japan. Understand he's here today because one of his friends has a daughter on the UConn cheerleader squad.
There you go. Merry Christmas, Bobby.
So he's within earshot. You know, managers and coaches, they like to observe how other managers and coach manage.
Absolutely.
Sure, he's watching the way Jim Calhoun works the game. Maybe works the officials.
Yeah, and he's teaching Jim some Japanese.
I wonder how Japanese would sound in that Braintree, Massachusetts accent. Down low Thabit, up and over Andre, who gets the rebound. Andre played very good defense on that possession.
Well, he's got to use his body to keep Thabit as far away as possible, and he has a big body at 300 pounds. Here's his problem. Hasn't been able to do anything here.
But he draws the foul on Kelly, and Andre will get to the line. His coach, Ted Woodward, said Brian can be dominant in certain situations, but he has only scratched the surface.
Well, I'll tell you what, the problem is he's a senior and he's a transfer from the University of Buffalo. As we've mentioned, he leads this team in scoring, but has had difficulty, of course, against the great shot blocking of UConn. What he's done, really, he has learned to pump fake. Now, earlier in the game, had some shots blocked right here, uses the pump fake, then uses his body to protect the basketball, and that's the way you play against a shot blocker. Go into the shot block, then get to the free throw line.
His high school team, Valley High School in Bingham, Maine, when he was there, they not only won 3 state championships, they won 60 straight games. That was his first point of the afternoon.
And he averages 13 a game, so that's a problem for them.
Leading scorer on the Black Bears. Nice look. Well, it wasn't such a nice look because Shikani Bofia got there first. Ahead to Sekobe, and Wiggins went way up in the air and will be whistled for the foul.
Sekobe kind of led up right here and tried to gather himself to jump off 2 feet. He would have been better suited just driving it in there off 1 foot. Now we watch right here as he gathers himself, takes a little more time, allows Wiggins to get in there, and that's a good foul. Forced the guy to go to the free throw line. Good numbers for Mark on the season. Pretty good rebounding for a 2-guard.
He is a local product. Played 2 years at Holton High School, then the last 2 years at Bangor, which is only 25 minutes from the Orono, Maine campus. You're telling me that your playing days at Rutgers, coaching days at Rutgers, you never made it to Orono, Maine, huh?
No, one time Bush invited me to Kenny Bunkport, but I decided not to go.
He said, call me back when it's warmer during that 7-week off season, huh?
Well, I'll tell you, that's exactly right. There aren't a lot of Division I players from Maine, obviously, and the ones that are, Ted has done a very good job of keeping them in state, and that's how he's building this program.
Shikani Bofia can't get that one to stay down. Rebound, Robinson, his 6th. Price fakes one way, sets up Wiggins for the wide open look. Rebound, Robinson again. That's a career high 22 points for Stanley Robinson.
Stanley is everywhere. How about this game for him, huh? Coming from way outside to get that offensive rebound.
Along with 7 rebounds and 3 blocked shots, we'll get a traveling violation on Maine. The 8th turnover for the Black Bears.
Stanley going to the offensive boards from out of your screen. He is using his length and athleticism, getting rebounds out of his area. The ones that come to you are the easy ones. The ones out of your area is what are impressive.
You know, Jim Calhoun often dreads the last game before Christmas. He says, I want to make sure my players are worried about the game and not catching the 5:15 out of Gate 7. Well, Stanley Robinson's headed home for Birmingham today, but he's got his head in the game as Price nails the jumper and gets fouled. UConn's got 47 points with 1:44 to go in the half.
A.J. Price right here uses a screen to get some space. And then his rotation is nice. Nothing but the bottom of the net, so his accuracy very much in evidence here. A.J. Price has improved, really. You were asking about ratios before. 3-to-1 ratio assists to turnovers this year. He was not even in that ballpark or even in that continent last year.
Well, entering the season, A.J. Price didn't earn the starting point guard job for this season until the exhibition games.
Yeah, and he's really improved. And, of course, he was a great high school recruit for them. We know he had the medical thing his first year and the disciplinary thing his second year. So he's just now getting his legs and getting, extended experience.
Bernal gets by Wiggins. Thabit challenged it, and Curtis Kelly will chase it down. Here's a 4-on-2 to the trailer, Robinson. Oh, my goodness. Wow. When it's 4-on-2, you have a lot of choices. That was a pretty good choice. Jacoby for 3. Long rebound, Wiggins. UConn trying to get something in transition again. Price, baseline, pull up. Offensive rebound to beat. I think he pushed off, though. Well, they're going to get the foul on Maine, and Ted Woodward thinks that Thabit pushed off as well. Watch Robinson, the trailer. Wow.
Stanley better watch out. He might hurt himself on some of these dunks. Right there, holding on to the rim to protect himself from anybody who might be coming under.
Foul on Cook is first. 10 on the Maine team. And Thabit knocks down the free throw. Coming up at halftime, we'll be chatting with UConn football coach Randy Edsall, whose Huskies will be playing 1 week from today in the make that 2 weeks from today in the Meineke Car Care Bowl in Charlotte against Wake Forest. Bob and I will also take a quick spin around the Big East. Huge game today in Memphis. Georgetown, Memphis. 2 undefeated teams, ranked number 2 and number 4 in the country. And a look at first half highlights here. Memphis with a 14-point lead over Georgetown with 5 minutes to go. And we're going to get a foul on the Huskies.
Well, you know, Georgetown has not challenged itself this year too much in terms of its own scheduling. This is the first team they're playing, which is a ranked opponent. And, of course, Roy Hibbert, the 7'3" center. Georgetown does not want high-scoring games. And when it's a high-scoring game like this one is in Memphis right now, that is to their disadvantage.
This is the Georgetown-Memphis game today, Bob. The second huge showdown involving Big East teams in the last 3 days.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about Georgetown's team is, you know, they're highly ranked because they made the Final Four last year, but they're missing Jeff Green. And, of course, you know, to me, he was one of my favorite college players over the last 6 or 7 years. And losing him makes a big difference. And, of course, they do have good players there. But still, you know, they've played not the toughest schedule in the world. And, of course, going down to Memphis is not easy. And playing at the FedEx Forum there is not easy for any team.
Shot clock is off. Thursday night, Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh
ranked number 9 in the country, knocked off number 7 Duke in a battle of the unbeaten in overtime. Pitt with a tremendous comeback. They looked like they were going to get blown out early, winning it on a Vance Fields three-pointer with 4.7 seconds left.
And DeJuan Blair with 20 rebounds.
Kelly inside will draw the foul on Cook. Jim Calhoun said that Curtis Kelly had a very good week in practice. Kelly has been turnover prone, and in fact, in his own inimitable way, his head coach said, I'm willing to put the money down for the bakery that Curtis is going to open up with all those turnovers he makes. Kelly at the free throw line. One of Kelly's high school teammates will be joining him in stores next year. UConn has signed one player in the early signing period, Kemba Walker, a 6'1" guard out of Rice High School, where Curtis is from. Storied program in New York City. So UConn with 53 first half points. Height at the buzzer would have counted, but it does not go. UConn out-rebounded Maine 32-18 in the first half. Stanley Robinson had 10 first half field goals. Maine had 10 first half field goals. Well, one of my all-time favorite artists, Bob, is Smokey Robinson. And Stanley Robinson is smoking hot here in the first half, isn't he? 24 points, a career high. It's UConn by 25 at halftime. We are at halftime at the XL Center in Hartford, and UConn leads Maine 53-28. Back on September 8th, the UConn football team defeated Maine 38-0. I'm delighted to be joined by UConn football coach Randy Edsall, and his Huskies will play Wake Forest in the Meineke Car Care Bowl 1 week from today in Charlotte. And Randy, be honest here, when you assembled in August, In your wildest dreams, did you think that your Huskies were going to share the Big East football championship this early in your Division I history?
I don't think I would have thought that we would have shared it then. I thought we had a chance to be a lot better than we were a year ago. And, if we did some things and, sports is a funny thing. We got some on a roll early and we got confidence and our kids were really believing that they could beat anybody. And we went out and did some very good things and ended up, with a share of it. So nothing surprises me, but at the beginning of the year, if you would have said that, I would have said, let's don't play the season and go to the end, and we would have taken it.
Now, entering the season, a problem in recent years is you've had a problem with stability at the quarterback position for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is injuries. But that was all solved this year with the transfer, junior college transfer, Tyler Lorenzen. As we take a look at some of Tyler in action, what did you see the first time you saw Tyler, and did you think that he could be the solution to that problem for you?
Well, the thing that I saw was a young man that was very poised and really knew what to do with the football. That was the big thing. He's a guy that doesn't make mistakes. He's a big guy that can run the football. He stands in the pocket, has a good arm, and knows where to go with the ball, and very, very intelligent. So, those were the things we saw, and then he brought a sense of calmness and poise and leadership to our football team that I really, really liked.
Now, it was 4 weeks ago today when your regular season ended with the loss at West Virginia. And, of course, one of the byproducts of the bowl season is you have that weird, undesired, long gap between playing. So how have you handled the time off? How much does the team practice, for example?
Well, we have about 11 practices in so far, and we'll get 4 more down in Charlotte. A normal week, game week for us on a normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And what we did is we gave the kids off during the week where they had to lift and run, and then we practiced on the weekends, and then for 2 weeks, and then we had a week where they really just lifted and ran because we had finals. So during final exams, we didn't do anything, and then once final exams were over, we started last Saturday and went all the way till this Friday. So we got the whole game plan put in. I feel comfortable with where we are with the game plan. And now what we'll do is go down and take our normal preparation week and really just refine the game plan and get our kids in the mindset of what's going to happen, on a normal game week.
Now, what concerns you most about your opponent, Wake Forest?
Well, I tell you, the Moore young man from on offense concerns me a lot. Kenny Moore, he's the guy that really does a lot of great things for him, and you got to stop him on offense. The Justice boy, the young man that's a center, Steve Justice, is an outstanding player. He's an All-American. But they do some things, Bob, with motion and things to create the extra gap. And we just got to be very sound and very solid in terms of how we're going to play against the run. And you got to stop the run against Wake Forest and then not give up the big play off of the play action pass. Defensively, they have very sound, very solid. They have guys that get to the ball. They're not going to beat themselves. And the thing that's happened is they have 10 non-offensive touchdowns this year. We have 8, so we thought we had a lot. They have 2 more than us. So the big thing is protecting the football, not turning it over, and not putting ourselves in situations that are going to be a disadvantage for us. And then in the special teams, they got some very good return people in terms of Kenny Moore, Kevin Marion. Those guys have done a great job for them. So we got to continue to play the kind of football we did during the year, and that's not turn it over on offense, work to get some big plays, and defensively play very sound, very solid, be opportunistic, get turnovers. And if we do that, and then also in the special teams create the field position, we got a great opportunity to win the game.
Well, I know you leave on Monday. Have a very Merry Christmas. Congratulations on a great season so far, and best of luck next Saturday.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
It's Randy Edsall, the head coach of the UConn football team. They will be playing the Meineke Car Care Bowl next week. Bob Wenzel rejoins me. We'll look around the Big East after. Well, it's tough to win when you get only as many field goals and a half as one player on the other team, and Maine finds itself trailing UConn by 25 at halftime. Bob Picozzi along with Bob Wenzel back at the XL Center, and sort of a coming out party in the first half, Bob, for one Stanley Robinson, Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, he was great. And, the variety of shots that he put up in this game is very, very important for their team. And if he can play, he's certainly not going to have 24 in the first half against Big East teams. But the kind of things that he showed in the first half, I think will make this team much, much better.
And as we take a look at the first half statistics, pretty much everything one way in UConn's direction, out rebounding Maine, problem with the turnovers, the block shots, you name it.
Well, everything going UConn's way, and it didn't start that way. Maine got off to a very good start, really showed that they were up for this game, but UConn's athleticism, size, shooting ability, all has taken its toll on the Black Bears, and of course, statistically showing that in all of these categories.
UConn trying to go 8-2 into the Christmas break, and they're off to a terrific start. Back with the second half after this. Hey, Pat. Pat. That's it. Put it down for you. He knows. He knows we're coming back. Put that beer down. Well, who needs Santa's lap, huh, when you have Daddy's lap? Part of the pre-Christmas crowd here at the XL Center, all set to start the second half. UConn by 25. Maybe it's the new uniforms, Bob.
I'll tell you, Stanley likes playing in gray, doesn't he, Mr. Robinson? 24 in the first half. He had 10 field goals. Maine had 10 field goals.
And Robinson's teammates had only 9 field goals collectively. But that's the sort of problem if you're a coach you can deal with. Much better than the other coach to deal with the problem of only having the same number of field goals as one player. Andre steps in and deflects the entry pass out of bounds.
Ted Woodward eschewing the zone defense and starting the second half in man-to-man. They played all zone in the first half, and he is a man-to-man coach.
Price in the lane. Adrian has his shot blocked, but the putback is good in the foul.
End line out of bounds
shot of the game, Bob, for me.
End line out of bounds plays have been very, very successful for UConn. And when you have that kind of size, this is a weak side pass. And Adrian slips in between two guys and gets the second effort play. They also lobbed one early. They like that.
Third foul on Jordan Cook. To the line will go Adrian, who is a preseason nominee for the Wood National Player of the Year award. The one chink in his armor is his free throw shooting. He's only a 58% shooter from the line, 1 for 3 today. Sokobi on the left. Number 3, Barnes, who had early foul trouble. Didn't see much of him in the first half. Pass deflected out of bounds. Last touched by Maine. So Ted Woodward's club turns the ball over for the 9th time. They've had a real problem with turnovers. They are last in the America East, and they are 318th in the country in turnovers. It's out of 329 teams. Robinson getting the early second half assignment on him is Barnes. Down low over Andre to Thabit, and Andre got the rebound flat-footed. Thabit went down in a heap and is yet to get up. Now he's finally getting up, and no one's there to guard Andre at the other end with Thabit hanging around midcourt, but he missed the layup. Here comes Price. Wants to take Bernal off the bounce. Kick out Dyson, who is yet to score. Takes care of that.
Well, he is a guy who attacks the basket relentlessly. I think his knee is bothering him. He's limping a little bit right now. He injured against Quinnipiac, and of course he's had a hip problem this year, but certainly hasn't prevented him from playing and playing well.
Thabit pulls down his 7th rebound of the afternoon. 2 minutes gone, second half. Price in the lane. He's got 11.
When to pull up and when to go all the way is something that you need to know. Price using the right decision on that particular play.
It's only the 5th time this year Price has been in double figures. Timeout Maine, their 4th. World, and your top 5 teams in the Big East, partner?
Well, those that are ranked, obviously Georgetown, Pittsburgh, a big win over Duke, Marquette and Villanova, the high-scoring Villanova, and West Virginia 8-1. Interesting team this year. John Beilein leaves, he of the three-point shot. In comes Bob Huggins, he of the aggressive defense. The two have combined nicely. Alex Ruhoff, Joe Alexander, Darius Nichols. West Virginia playing great, 8-1 right now.
John Beilein leaving Morgantown for Ann Arbor, Michigan, as did West Virginia football coach Rich Rodriguez. West Virginia, of course, will be playing in its bowl game without Rich Rodriguez at the helm. Mountaineers shared the Big East football championship with Randy Edsall's UConn Huskies.
And if White didn't go down, he might have been a candidate for that Heisman.
Jacoby with the miss.
Boy, Wiggins can push it, can he?
Oh, nice look inside. Price to Adrian, and the foul.
I like the interchanging of the guards right here. Jeff Adrian does a good job of getting to the block where he needs to be. But here, when Wiggins is in, AJ goes over to the 2-guard spot. Nice feed inside to Adrian. That's how you run a fast break play and reward your bigs.
Adrian with 7 points and 8 rebounds. That was the 3rd assist of the afternoon for Price, who is 3rd in the Big East, now has 57 of them. Georgetown, by the way, lost that game to Memphis today. So that's the first loss for the Hoyas. So UConn begins the second half with a 9-0 run. Nice look inside. Shakani Bofia to number 11, Jason Height. Wiggins is sent flying. Dyson's out of the game and now actually has an ice pack on that right knee. So you mentioned Bob George Blaney telling us before the game that Jerome was really not feeling very comfortable the last few days with the knee.
Yeah, and he's had some hit. You know, the guy goes to the basket so hard. He plays so hard. He gets banged up a lot. Not hurt, but banged up.
Price for 3. Rebound. Adrian outfought everybody and then is pushed by Shakani Bofia for his 3rd and 3 on Maine.
This is what you got to love about Jeff Adrian. This is his signature. He's a lunch pail type guy. Bangs around inside, comes up with the ball. He gets fouled. Somebody pulls his shirt right here, practically off him, and he stays with it. 4 Black Bears around. That's what you love.
Off the inbound, Wiggins with the miss, and up in the air for the rebound was Height. Adrian with 9 rebounds today. Nice screen by Shakani Bofia, but Bernal is rejected by Thabit. Bernal getting up very slowly. It's a 5-on-4, but that pass is sent airborne. 6th block shot of the game for Thabit.
Well, taking it into the basket, normally this is a layup, but when you're against UConn and especially Thabit, these things become low on the field goal percentage basis right here.
32nd block shot of the year for Thabit, 2nd most in the Big East.
A layup turns into a missed shot.
Shakani Bofia down low, Cook. Spin, shoots over Thabit. Wiggins chases down the rebound on a hop. Quickly Robinson right in front of us. Underneath to Adrian. That time UConn just beat Maine down the floor.
Forwards combining again in the first half. Adrian delivering to Robinson quite frequently. This time it's the other way around. Athleticism is wearing down the Black Bears now.
10 points for Adrian, and the 3-pointer is good by Jason Height. His 10th 3 of the year. And Shakani Bofia now with his 4th foul. Adrian will go back to the free throw line. Shakani Bofia having a little discussion with the lead official, Pat Driscoll. So UConn's strength and athleticism wearing down the Black Bears in the first meeting between these two old Yankee Conference rivals in 15 years. UConn by 31. Let's take a look now at a game-changing performance brought to you by Pontiac. And Bob, maybe Simon and Garfunkel should do a sequel and sing a song about Mr. Robbins.
Stanley's been great, hasn't he? He's the game-changing performer in this one. He's done it in a variety of ways, not the least of which has been 3 or 4 dunks in the first half. He's made threes. Most impressive to me, his going to the offensive boards. And, of course, the fans love the double-dip dunk. Stanley coming out party for him. Has not scratched in the second half. That is his career high in 20 minutes.
Robinson, when he plays like this, Bob, can create some big-time matchup problems when UConn gets into the Big East at that 3 spot.
Yeah, and if you're striving for consistency, these are the kind of things that you want to see him play. Of course, he's not going to have 24-point games in the first half all the time. But with the front line of Thabit blocking shots, the power forward of Adrian, and sort of the classic 3-man of Robinson, that gives them a formidable front line, and they should be very, very competitive in there.
Jim Calhoun said last year we had the most god-awful droughts I've ever seen in my life scoring-wise. We haven't really had that this year, and with that consistency, maybe that will change things. A year ago, UConn, the Big East, 6-10. They finished in 12th place, and there's their 10th block shot of the ballgame.
One above their average. And, of course, this is where their field goal percentage gets so good. Last season, not very good, 17-14. That's their worst season in a long time, 6-10 in the league, and no postseason for the first time since 1987.
Yeah, they had a run of 19 consecutive postseason appearances, missed in Jim Calhoun's first year, and not again until last year.
And, of course, let's not forget 2 national championships in that run as well.
Run which began with an NIT championship in 1988. Wiggins catch and shoot. Rebound, Jeff Adrian. And Adrian with the putback, and he has yet another double-double, his 5th of the year. 14 points, 11 rebounds, just picked up his first block shot of the afternoon. He's got 11 points in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
He's taking over where Robinson was in his first half.
He's outscored Maine 11-5 in the second half.
Concerted effort to get him the ball, but it isn't a sort of thing. I mean, he got him by running the floor. He got him by going to the offensive boards. He's not looking to take an outside jump shot at all. Just goes to show you that when you work hard and you're after it in the paint, there's lots of ways to score.
At the free throw line goes Brian Andre. Of course, we mentioned Ted Woodward was an assistant for 3 years under Jim Calhoun, and Ted told me there isn't a day that goes by when I don't use something that I learned from Jim Calhoun. He said it was an unbelievable experience to begin my coaching career at his footsteps.
And Ted, of course, attended Bucknell University.
That pass intended for option was way too low. And good catch up by Wiggins to knock the ball out of bounds. While at UConn, Ted Woodward picked up his master's degree in athletic administration. He was there for 3 years. Was there for an NIT championship, an NIT quarterfinal appearance. The entire assistant coaching staff on that NIT team, now Division I head coach.
Did you say athletic administration?
Yep.
Let's hope he stays in coaching, huh?
On the right, Hikes. Out of the double team. Boy, UConn is really making this a nightmarish possession for Maine. And there's the 11th block shot with Thabit, his 7th. His season high is 9. It's Florida A&M. Bernal gets bailed out. Here's a chance for a 4-point play. With 3 seconds left on the shot clock, he hits the 3 and gets fouled. Wow.
Bernal is not a good 3-point shooter, shooting 16% on the year. Forced into having to take this one. And, of course, maybe Wiggins helped him get it up there higher or something. With 3 seconds to go on the shot clock, he knocks it in.
Thabit will leave with the 7 block shots. This is a matchup between 2 teams which are 300th in the country, UConn, and 323rd in the country, Maine, in 3-point field goals made. It is early in the season. Sometimes those numbers can turn around, but they got a long way to go to turn them around. 14 points for Bernal. He's from New York City. Donnell Beverly in for UConn, the only freshman on this team, number 2 from the Bay Area, California. Robinson will earn another trip to the free throw line.
Well, you know, you talk about 3-point shooting, and some teams use it, and it is an absolute weapon for them, and certainly not a weapon for UConn, but guys certainly capable of making shots. Marquette is another team that is an outstanding team that doesn't use the 3-point shot in its arsenal, much more as a secondary tool.
Craig Austrie missing a 2nd straight game today, Bob, recovering from a bout with pneumonia. Good to see him laugh. He wasn't laughing much since he had to be hospitalized about a week or so ago. They hope he might be ready to go next Friday in Orlando against the University of Central Florida. Shot by Sokobe, no good. There's rebound number 12 for Adrian. So with Dyson dinged up with the knee and Austria unavailable today. It's a chance for some more playing time for Beverly.
Absolutely.
Well, that pass by Adrian was more out of last year's circa, and not even Price's leaping ability could corral that one.
Well, Beverly's going to be the point guard right here, I think, and Price will move over to the 2-guard spot. Price playing a lot of minutes in this one.
With a trap out of that 2-3 zone. We saw a lot of that in the first half. Bernal just flat out lost the handle on that one, and here's Adrian. He'll wait for some help, at least we think. Find a guard, Jeff. Instead, he finds the big man, Edwards, and he'll get to the foul line. Jim Calhoun points at Jeff Adrian with admiration with his right index finger, saying, "That's it. Look for the man inside." A couple wins on that bench with those two guys sitting next to each other, huh? Jim Calhoun and George Laney.
Absolutely.
Friends for over 30 years.
George, the former Seton Hall coach, and Holy Cross as well.
Look at
Right
his
here.
pass.
Yeah. Look across court right there. Find your teammate. Bullet pass. Hall of Famer on the right.
George Blaney also coached at the beginning of his career at Stonehill and at Dartmouth. Has really loved his time here. He's in his first year as the associate head coach at UConn, with Tom Moore leaving after last season to become the head coach at Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac bounced back from the loss to UConn with a nice win the other night over Dartmouth. They will be a factor in the Northeast Conference race this year. Jumper no good by McNally. Rebound on a hop. Edwards inside the 13-minute mark. Beverly to Price. Down low, Adrian. Finds Edwards. Gets a half step on McNally and will earn another trip to the line.
All going right now for UConn. And you would expect that some of the substitutes that don't get normal playing time are going to get it in this game. Gavin going to the line from Arizona. He'll be going out there for Christmas. And the rest of the guys on the bench starting to gear up, looking down to the left and saying, "Hey, coach, how about me?"
Price will get a rest. Here's Edwards, whose dad, Earl, was a defensive lineman in the NFL for 12 seasons. Ooh. With the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills. Big date tomorrow for the New York Giants in Buffalo. They still need one more win to earn their way into the playoffs. They still can get in without a win, but they need help to do that.
And how about those Jags?
The Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll tell you what, they're in the wrong division. They're 10-4, but they're in second place in that division. Might have 3 teams from that division make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Tennessee's got a shot too at 8-6. Houston's in last place and they're 7-7. Beverly had it knocked loose, rolls into the UConn bench. Who touched it last? The Huskies did. So Donnell Beverly will be home for Christmas. His Huskies lead by 35. A comfortable lead for the UConn Huskies. Today's Big East Coaches Spotlight is brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds. And let's take a closer look at UConn coach Jim Calhoun. He'll get his 758th win today, Bob, so he'll move into a temporary tie for 12th with Jim Boeheim, but Boeheim can get him back tonight at home against Cornell.
I think these guys have been tied from the umbilical cord with everything from Hall of Fame status, both beating cancer, and all of these wins, and of course the 2 national titles in '99 and '04. The biggest things on that resume. Done an outstanding job, obviously.
Just remarkable turnaround, one of the great turnarounds in college basketball history from the standpoint of where they were, where they got to, and where they have stayed at. Last year an aberration at 17 and 14.
Fabit's feet, movement pretty good.
From the elbow, McNally buries the jumper. 6'7" freshman from Gardner, Maine. He was a finalist for Mr. Maine basketball a year ago out of Gardner High School. Award won by his now Maine teammate Troy Barnes. Beverly.
Yeah, he's been in foul trouble the whole game. He's in the game right now. One of the more athletic guys on this team.
Ted Woodward will work on the man-to-man. That's what they want to play when they get into the America East. Robinson with the miss and rebound on a hop to Sokobe.
Stanley Robinson, 24 in the first half, 0 in the second half. Excuse me, 1 point in the second half.
Maine is now shooting 30% after that basket. Maine will open America East play on January 6th at Stony Brook. And a blocked shot by Andre. So that'll be a matchup in that game, Bob, between two Jim Calhoun former assistants. Steve Michael, Stony Brook.
And the block on the other side, much less frequent, of course. The America East will have its tournament in Binghamton this year. And then when the championship game is finally decided, it will be decided on the highest seed of the two teams remaining on their home court. Some of the teams in the American East preseason, Albany, Vermont, UMBC, and BU sort of at the top. Binghamton and Stony Brook, Hartford, close by here. New Hampshire and Maine. So those are the 8 squads in that league.
BU picked #1 in the preseason poll. Adrian will go to the line. And we mentioned Stony Brook. Jim Calhoun, and chatting about going up against his former assistants, was mentioning how he stays in touch with them all and follows them all and roots for them all. And he said, you know, we had Steve, meaning Peichel, on the suicide watch earlier this year because they had lost 6 in a row. And he called me and he says, Coach, what am I supposed to do? And I said to him, have you seen my team play? You want my advice? What am I supposed to do? Jim Calhoun feels a lot better about his team now than he did a couple of weeks ago. Was not happy with the loss to Gonzaga, even though they're nationally ranked, because he felt that was a game we could have won. We didn't make the plays down the stretch, and they did, and that bothered me.
Yeah,
next time out against Northeastern, they played poorly and won. He got ejected for that game, by the way. Those two things not necessarily unrelated.
Little bench decorum league this year.
There's the coaching tree. 7 former assistants, now Division I head coaches, including Ted Woodward. This is the first time he's coached against Ted. He coached against Tom Moore for the first time last Sunday, so he's now coached against all 7. And after today, barring a remarkable turnaround by Maine, Jim Calhoun will be 11-0 against his former pupils.
Carl Hobbs, I tell you, did a great job at George Washington. They've been in the tournament. Not as good this year as they have been, but they've got this up-tempo style as well in Washington, D.C.
17 points, 13 rebounds for Adrian. And Thabit comes away with his 8th rebound of the afternoon. Get a held ball. Possession arrow pointing toward Maine. Andre 0 for 6 from the floor. He won't see many centers in the America East of the size and athletic ability of Thabit, though.
He's a good player. You know, I mean, I was watching him and talking to people about him. He's got good moves inside, knows how to turn, knows how to ball fake. Just a little bit difficult for him in this one.
Wiggins deflected the inbound pass and will wind up in the Maine bench. Last touch by the Black Bears. 12th turnover for Maine.
You talk about fast guards in the country, you're looking at one right there.
Yeah.
Wiggins is like beep, beep, and he is gone. And other guys that come to mind are Ty Lawson of North Carolina and Darren Collison of UCLA.
Robinson to Price. Down low to beat. And he is hammered by Jordan Cook. 4th foul on Cook. Cook's dad, Paul, played at Maine and was an assistant coach at Maine. And one of Paul Cook's teammates at Maine was Dan Costigan, whose son Sean is now Jordan Cook's teammate. So a little 2nd-generation Black Bear action there for 2 of the current Maine players.
Some surprises in college basketball this year. You know, Kentucky certainly a team that has not played as well as people thought that they would. The new coach, Billy Gillespie, trying to institute his tough man-to-man denial defense there. And, of course, very early, gotten beat by Gardner-Webb and have struggled ever since. Texas, surprisingly good compared to how they were thought of. The departure of Durant, one of those things that people thought Texas would go down, and they have played great, beat UCLA at Pauley Pavilion when the Bruins were #1. A lot of interesting stuff going on in college basketball this year.
They have a great player in DJ Augustine.
Indeed.
Bernal with the miss, and Robinson with rebound number 9. So he's 1 rebound away from his 3rd career double-double. Price from the left. He's got 14.
Wiggins, Price, and Dyson. I'll tell you, you talk about quickness and guys who share the basketball. That's quite a triumvirate in the backcourt.
4 UConn players in double figures today. This will be a hold on Thabit.
You know, I think about other Big East guards. Of course, Dominique James immediately comes to mind.
Quick on quick.
Yeah, and Jarrell McNeil and Wesley Matthews. So their guards are very, very good. And Kubian comes in and shoots the threes. So when these two teams play, that'll be an awesome matchup between those quick guys. And when you think of big people, you think of Roy Hibbert and Hashim Thabit, certainly in terms of their physical size in the league.
The pull up by Barnes and got the roll. You mentioned Marquette. Last night, Marquette beat Coppin State. The game was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where Marquette is. And Coppin State had a game today at noon Eastern time in Bloomington, Indiana. Friday night, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Saturday at noon, Bloomington, Indiana. Robinson now with 28 points.
That's one of those deals where there's a big check involved with both of those games.
And the coach doesn't see any of it. And the coach gets evaluated on the W's and the L's, right?
Yeah, indeed.
The jumper by McNally, nice touch.
All right, now this is good judgment right here. You want to go as fast as you can, and of course, making a three at the end of it is good. But you want, last year I thought that UConn really penetrated into the teeth of the defense a lot, you know, didn't have a lot of purpose to what they were doing a lot of times on offense, and as a result, came up with not such a great season. This year, their judgment looks better, not only in this game, but in a lot of games I've seen them play this year. They don't drive into traffic as much as they did last year.
Adrian with the turn. It was like an NBA game these last couple of possessions. Not a lot of stops.
You score, we score.
19 for Adrian. By the way, those 28 points by Robinson this year, the most that any UConn player has scored this season. Price had 24 in a game. Adrian had 24 in a game. Dyson had 23 last time out. When's the last time someone's missed?
It's been a while, huh? I think that the gray uniforms are going to be used again. I don't think they'll be discarded after the performance in this game.
Down low, Thabit will draw the foul from behind. So UConn will head for Central Florida with an impressive win. So who do you like freshman-wise in the Big East?
Well, the guy who nobody knows about is Dominique Jones. This is not Dominique James of Marquette. Dominique Jones, last 4 games, 24.8 per game, 6'4" guard. And DeJuan Blair, I love. If you talk about Pittsburgh, blue-collar, in-the-paint type player, 20 rebounds against the Blue Devils. And the two guys, Dante Green and Johnny Flynn at Syracuse, big numbers for both of them. Flynn leads the league in assists.
Jim Boeheim will have to rely more heavily on those freshmen than he originally planned because of the season-ending injury to Eric Devendorf.
Yeah, what a defensive, what a problem situation that is for them. It's going to manifest itself in a lot of different ways. More playing time for certain guys. But I'll tell you what, Green, a better offensive player than I thought he was going to be early.
And of course, Pittsburgh suffered a very similar season-ending injury the other night to Cook, who went down in the overtime game to Duke, and he'll miss the rest of the year. Both torn ACLs.
Yeah, unbelievable. Sam Young, of course, of Pittsburgh, is an electrifying kind of player.
UConn in a 2-3 zone. The shot is no good. Taken by number 5, Robbie Hanslick. First look at him, 6'3" freshman from Greenwood Village, Colorado. Price down low to Thabit, and he'll get back to the free throw line. Let's take a look now at our select stats, brought to you by Select Sector Spiders. We mentioned UConn assisted on each of its first 10 field goals. Right now, 21 assists on 30 field goals. And even I can figure out that's 70%. That's pretty good.
That's more than pretty good. I mean, that's a fantastic share in the basketball. And, of course, a lot of that comes on fast break situations. Let's watch the Beach free throw. Big guys get fouled a lot. And a lot of them don't shoot free throws well. He does, 72%. And right now, he's been very, very good. 9 out of 10, now 10 out of 11 from the free throw line. That is excellent for a 7'3" player.
Beat with 16 points today. He's in double figures for the 5th time this year, 11th time in his career. Huskies with 4 players in double figures today, on a day when they got 2 points from Jerome Dyson, in large part because he's not feeling very limber because of that knee injury. Thabit will give to Price at the 6-minute mark. This is the second Big East opponent for Maine this year. They played Providence and lost by 30. Beverly puts it on the floor. Nice look down low to Kelly. A couple of head fakes. Offensive rebound Thabit, and he's fouled again.
Thabit's been on the floor about 5 times this year, and 5 times in this game, and that's a long way to go when you're 7'3". That hurts him more than it hurts you or I'll tell you. It's a good sign, though, because he's going in there. He's not afraid to get his feet knocked out from under him. Very aggressive on the offensive boards.
Only missed 1 of his 11 attempts today. Sophomore from Tanzania. Golf fans and club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com to sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifying site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. So Thabit missed them both, and Kelly with the rebound foul.
Well, the crossed legs and the crossed arms are a defensive position, and his defense has been good in this one, huh?
That's sort of like the cigar we read Auerbach, right? The crossed legs and the crossed arms, and they don't let you let you light up cigars in arenas anymore. Of course, if the great Red Auerbach were still with us today, that probably wouldn't stop Red from trying. Robinson missing the shot and then nearly running down the rebound himself. Looked like he was going to take that all the way back to Birmingham with him. You might bump into Stanley at the airport,
I might see him
Bob.
at the airport today. We're both going south.
There will be a number of UConn players headed for the airport after the game. Again, the Huskies will all scatter for their respective homes to celebrate Christmas and will assemble in Orlando on Christmas night. They have practice the next morning, and they play UCF, University of Central Florida, next Friday at 8 o'clock. It's a brand new arena at UCF this year.
That's on their campus. It is a large school, and of course they're very good defensively.
Yeah, I had a chance to see them in Orlando over Thanksgiving weekend in the Old Spice Classic. Stanley Robinson, his previous career high was 21. He's now got 30. First 30-point game of the season for a Husky. And Hanslick threw it away and then just reached out and grabbed Beverly's hand. All right, now, I know this is your first time seeing UConn play in person, Bob, and as we take another look at Robinson, and same players as last year, Bob, but I think we would agree that even though they were 11-0 going into conference play last year, then got whacked in their Big East opener out West Virginia, this team is certainly in a better position. They're a better team than they were entering conference play a year ago. How do you think they'll do in league play?
Well, you know, they're picked 6th, and, you know, I could see them 6th. A lot's going to happen. I mean, you know, they're certainly talented enough to be with the upper level. There's the UCF game that you talked about, and then they open the season on the road at Seton Hall and Notre Dame, and then that big game on January 12th against Georgetown. But, you know, if you look at it on paper, the jury is still out because they're very similar, as you mentioned, record-wise as they were last year. The 2 teams they challenged themselves with, they lost. They lost to Memphis and they lost to Gonzaga. So I think
that's very competitive in both.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing in the sense that it will keep them primed and keep them aggressive as they get into league play. How consistent they will be, we're going to find out.
Inside, the foul will be called on Kelly.
If you look at it on paper also, Bob, and you look at the elements of it, they have everything you really need to be an outstanding team. They have shot blocking, #1 in the nation. They have a pair of forwards who play those positions well. They've got a power forward in Adrian. They got a small forward in Robinson, who can do a lot of things as we've seen in this game. And they have depth at the guard positions. Now, how good Dyson will be compared to last year, probably about the same. Price should be much improved over last year. Wiggins is a guy who adds a lot to their acceleration. If they get behind in games, I could see him playing a lot, pushing the ball up the floor. And they've got depth in the front court, so they have everything you need.
The big thing they need is consistency. They have the 5 starters are all very, very talented, but each in his own way has certainly been inconsistent. Robin, he is just unconscious. 32 points.
He's shown pretty much everything. Moving without the ball there, the last thing, on a nice curl play.
Bernal for 3. Long rebound, Robinson, his 11th. The one thing this UConn team, certainly an area where they could improve, is their outside shooting.
Yeah.
They are certainly not the best outside shooting team in the Big East, and that's an understatement.
Well, the only thing is, you know, how do you take advantage of that? Certainly, just by playing zone doesn't do it, because you can attack a zone by going inside and penetrating and crashing the offensive boards. Maybe playing man-to-man, but playing loosely.
Well, I'd say loosely pretty much describes the way UConn has played today. They're 2 points away from 100. Is out rebounding Maine 55-27, out shooting the Black Bears 50% to 31.1%, out shot blocking Maine 12-2, and it's not a coincidence that they've outscored them 98-52. It's amazing how that works out.
They lead up to that. A very important question I have for you here, Bob. I mean, if they reach 100, do we get free pizza or anything like that?
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
I don't think so. UConn so far this year, their previous high was 93 against Florida A&M. So they have eclipsed that. And with 3 minutes to go, they have a really good chance to hit the century mark for the first time. Kelly with the interception. Look out. He was headed our way. He actually is headed to the radio boys' way.
Big numbers for Jeff Adrian in this one. 19 points, 13 boards. Fabit, 16 points, 10 boards. And, of course, Robinson, the story of the game, 32 points and 11 as he takes a seat.
And gets a standing ovation. So 3 UConn players with double-doubles in the same game. Adrian, Fabit, and Robinson. Robinson's totals 32 and 11 with 3 block shots. The jumper is no good by number 32, Sean Costigan, freshman from South Portland, Maine. After the game, Maine will get on the bus and make the long drive back up Interstate 91 and eventually hooking up with 95. Actually, they probably they don't go that way. They'll take the 84 to the Mass Pike, get on 95 that way. About a 6-hour drive. They'll get home around 10 o'clock tonight, and then their players, some of their players will leave right from Hartford to their homes for Christmas. Kelly sets up Edwards, and there's your 100 points. So you know it's one-sided when we start debating which way Maine will take it to get back home. We're voting 84 to the Mass Pike. 290 to 95. Done it a few times myself. Costigan with the jumper from the elbow at the 2-minute mark. Maine will be off until a New Year's Eve matinee against Canisius. They do play an exhibition game against University of Maine Augusta campus. Edwards with the putback of his own miss. And boy, are his teammates getting on him for missing that first shot. Fabit and Adrian are all over.
Well, a feel-good game for UConn, certainly. Nice to have that on your way home for Christmas. And they will get ready for the Wars of the Big East, which will be an amazing season this year.
Opener January 3rd against Seton Hall. Costigan with the miss. And one of the officials, John Gaffney's coming up a little lame. That's an official. That's an official timeout. He called the TO himself. And leaving are Kelly and Wiggins. There's Ray Perrone. He's okay, but he's a little concerned about his buddy John Gaffney. And UConn, the walk-ons will get a chance to play for the second game in a row. Enter 45 John Lindner from Cheshire, Connecticut. Number 35 Alex Hornat, 6'5" sophomore from South Windsor. Number 55 Kyle Bailey, 6'3" freshman from Lancaster, New Hampshire. Let's see what they can do in the last 1 minute. There's Lindner. He had his first career point last Sunday against Quinnipiac. Ahead of everyone is PA, and Edwards will be called for the goaltending, I think. And leaving the game for Maine, number 11 Jason Height departs with 7 points and 2 rebounds. So Maine will lose for the 5th time in the last 6 days Because of final exams and the Christmas break, this is the only game Maine's going to play in a 15-day stretch. Only game UConn will play an 11-day stretch. Here's the steal, and ahead of everyone is Jay Erling for his first 2 points. He's a freshman from Hampton, Maine.
Well, Maine has played difficult competition in the name of UConn and in the name of Florida State and Providence. And whether those things will be good for their players' confidence and when they get to the America East is why you play these games if you're in the position that Ted Woodward is in.
Edwards with the shot. The shot clock is now off. To the cutter, Costigan. Rebound kept alive inside. Edwards will come away, and the Huskies will just put the ball on the hip. We're not going to see UConn with 8 seconds on the shot clock, up 45, take a shot. And the coach on the other bench is a former assistant of Jim Calhoun. That's for sure. So, as you mentioned, Bob, a tough day always for the pupil and the teacher when they go against each other. And Jim Calhoun's club had the better horses today, and he won by 45.
Well, he did, and of course they played great too. And for Ted, I think he brings his team in here. He's going to get prepared for the America East. Home for Christmas are the UConn Huskies, and then of course a tough game away at Central Florida. That could be dangerous, but they're showing their athleticism very much in this one.
Once again, final score, UConn 105, Maine 60. For Bob Wenzel and our entire ESPN Plus crew, I'm Bob Cozy. So long from the XL Center in Hartford. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN Regional Television, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports. Merry Christmas, everyone.